Here we go.
It's showtime, folks!
Hello, everyone, and welcome to episode number 7 of the Wrestling Supershow podcast. I am your host, Joey Roberts, and as always, I've got Coco Beware's brother from another mother, James Tingstrom, and we are the self-proclaimed tag team champions of the podcast universe. James, how are you doing today?
I'm very good, sir. How are you holding up?
Tired, but
yeah, I'm there too. I'm tired.
Yeah, but I'm doing good. Now I wanted to start with this before we got into anything else. I wanted to take the time to send condolences to the family and friends of the couple people that we lost over the past couple days, past couple week, whatever. Blackjack Mulligan passed away over the weekend. And then Balls Mahoney passed away on Tuesday, which kind of surprised me a little bit, but I don't know.
That was a little bit of a shock for me.
Yeah, the Blackjack Mulligan one, he had been sick for a while, and there was a lot of people like that were kind of expecting it. Like there was a couple weeks ago where Bray Wyatt and Bo Dallas both missed Raw because they were expecting him to pass away like that week.
Yeah, I did hear that.
But since then they came back. I didn't really know much of Blackjack Mulligan. And I haven't really seen many of his matches, but I've seen, some highlights here and there. And he is, of course, the grandfather of Bray Wyatt and Bo Dallas.
Father of the IRS.
That is true.
I wish he would have given his son a different career path instead of taking my money. Yeah,
exactly. But growing up, I was a big fan of Balls Mahoney. Him and Axl Rotten, who also passed away, but that was in the beginning of February.
Oh, wait, I did not hear that.
Yeah, he passed away at the beginning of February,
wow.
Like within the first week or so.
The chair-swinging freaks are no more.
Yeah, I saw something on Facebook saying that they're raising hell and heaven now together. But yeah, those were two of the top guys, and the prime of ECW.
They were even brought back for the Invasion reunion in 2005.
Yeah, and then also my bad, phone went off. And then also Balls was part of the whole WWE, ECW, like whenever ECW was like a third brand.
Yeah, like he made it for a few months on Sci-Fi before they let him loose.
Yeah, exactly. But yeah, the chair shots that he would give people, I'm surprised people didn't die. But yeah, as like a 9-10-year-old kid watching this, I thought this was the greatest thing ever. And that's why I was more into ECW than I was like WCW. I mean, I was always a big WWF, but I found myself, I would always go to one of my neighbor's house because he was a little bit older and he had, we would always, play with action figures and stuff. And he was the one who first introduced me to ECW. It was one of like the Living Dangerously pay-per-views or something. And yeah, just seeing, guys like Balls Mahoney and New Jack and the Dudleys and RVD, it was just amazing. But yeah, Balls Mahoney and yeah, Yeah, I always liked him, so whenever I heard that, it was kind of like, oh, that sucks.
Yes, indeed.
Yeah. But yeah, I just wanted to say that before we got into our weekly discussion. Um, but first, I guess we'll go into some news and rumors. Firstly, Bray Wyatt was injured at a live show in Milan.
Awesome.
Yeah. Yeah,
He
apparently.
was about to have a bromance with Roman Reigns, and then he goes and hurts his calf muscle.
Yeah, apparently the match had barely even started or hadn't even started yet, and apparently he slipped and
From what I heard, he was in the corner, I guess punching his opponent or whatever, and he was answering the 5 count, and at 4 he stepped backward and then just fell over. And they stopped the match from there.
Huh.
That's what I heard. I don't know how accurate it is because it came off that internet.
Yeah, and everything, all the videos I've seen have been it's been after he hurt himself. And then everything happened after that. But I did read that he has been pulled from the rest of the tour. And he is probably on his way back. If not, he's already on his way back to the States to undergo some testing. And they said we should know within the coming days how severe, the injury is.
One of two things. Either Dr. Amon's Z-Pack couldn't fix whatever was wrong and they sent him back to get looked at, or they know it's really, really bad and they went ahead and just said, go home, you're done.
Yeah, exactly.
But I'm hoping that was just precautionary. Like, you're not going to wrestle for the tour, so why be here? Go home and recover and rest.
Yeah, exactly. It may not be as severe, so yeah, like you said, just
hopefully he can still be on TV. I mean, I know he the calf muscle, he can't do anything physical. He won't be walking much if it's really bad, but God, this would be the worst timing.
Yeah, exactly. Because
I don't know if they were doing a double turn with him and Roman or what they were going to do or where that was going to go, but whatever it was going to be fun to watch.
Yeah, exactly. And I kind of actually liked we'll talk about it a little bit more, but like the main event on Raw was, Bray and Roman teamed up together. But we'll talk about that when it gets to it. Not speaking of, what am I talking about? Ricochet and Global Cruiserweight Series rumors again. Only this may be the last time we talk about it, mainly because he went to Twitter and said that he's not going to be in it.
Yep. And his contract pretty much reads he can't go anywhere until after Season 3 finishes airing on television.
Yeah, and that won't even start airing until early 2017, so probably, next summer.
That sucks.
Yeah, that was a big name that everyone was expecting, but he went on to Twitter and said, okay, guys, listen, I will not be in the Global Cruiserweight Tournament. One reason, I'll be in Japan winning BOSJ again, whatever that is. I'm sure it's some Japanese
That's
term.
the Battle of the Super Juniors.
Oh, okay. Gotcha.
It's essentially a cruiserweight tournament. It's essentially what WWE's doing now, only Japan did it first.
Gotcha. Well, that makes sense.
I mean, it's not the worst idea to copy, but yeah, it's Battle of the Super Juniors. I think it takes place over like a couple of weeks, kind of like the G1 tournament takes place over a couple of weeks.
Gotcha.
And I think apparently he won last year. I did not hear who won, but apparently it was Ricochet.
Oh, okay. But yeah, that's kind of like, But there's still guys like, Kota Ibushi, Zack Sabre Jr.
Oh yeah, one guy doesn't make the whole tournament.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, he'll be in NXT eventually, so.
Would it be cool to see Ricochet? Hell yeah.
Yeah.
Is it gonna suck without him? Absolutely not.
No. I mean, like with guys like, Swan and Gargano, Ciampa, Sabre Jr., Ibushi, all these guys, it's not that big of a deal.
And pardon me if I'm jumping the gun here, but apparently King Cuerno's not going to be in the tournament either because I think he re-upped with AAA or I know he wanted to be let out of his Lucha Underground contract and they said no, and then I guess he's back with AAA or whatever.
Yeah, I actually have that down. I'll just go to that in my notes right now. Yeah, he wanted to accept an offer to work for WWE, but he couldn't because he is signed on for a 7-season Lucha Underground.
Jesus Christ.
Yeah, a 7-season Lucha Underground contract, and they wouldn't release him. He wanted out of his contract, but apparently he returned to AAA, and apparently is okay with not, being a part of the Cruiserweight series. So
I know. I think Helico has a 7-year deal or 7-season deal with Lucha Underground as well.
aw, damn, that sucks.
That's why when we were talking last year, it was like, oh, wouldn't it be cool to see on Helico and Puma? And I'm like, yeah. And Helico's not leaving anytime soon. It would be cool, but it's not gonna happen.
Yeah, exactly. Oh, sorry. All right. Let's see where I was at. Apparently Randy. This is nothing major, but Randy Orton did an interview and said that when he returns, he would like to face Finn Balor.
Ooh.
Yeah. Granted, this will probably happen sometime further down the road, but yeah. I mean, there's no telling when Finn Balor will show up. But,
there's your TLC main event right there.
Yeah. Also, I read, and this was kind of surprising, but at the same time, I'm glad because I've always hated this faction. WWE officials are planning on breaking up the League of Nations soon. Yeah. No word yet on what they have planned for all the members, but them kicking out Barrett was the beginning of the end.
And here I am just getting excited about that faction.
I mean, I was gonna buy one of those Rusev shirts and everything, but
but I'm legitimately starting to not completely ignore them. I don't like their celebration where they all throw their hands up like drunk frat boys. But then again, someone's got to feud with the New Day and come after Roman Reigns every week.
Yeah. Hey, that's why I'll save it for later.
Okay.
Yeah.
I have no idea where you're going with that.
All right. And also, this is something. Okay, lost my place. It's looking like Hideo Itami may be getting closer to coming back.
It's about fucking time.
Yeah.
He's been out for a whole year.
Yeah. He tweeted out just a one-word tweet. It was just like almost. So yeah,
well,
I'm thinking he'll either come back to challenge Finn Balor and have him win at the NXT Brooklyn 2 or whatever, or have him be in the Global Cruiserweight Series.
Hideo Itami and Finn Balor overlapped by 2 weeks in NXT, and Finn Balor's been around for a very long time. That's how long Hideo's been out.
Yeah. Yeah, and what is it? Yeah, I also heard something probably on another podcast. They could, if they decide to make Finn Balor a heel, they could bring back Itami whenever he's healthy. And because Finn Balor's debut, I think like his Demon debut or something like that was, am I thinking this right? I don't remember. One of his first matches.
Yeah, he saved Hideo from the Ascension at one point. They tagged together.
Yeah.
But the first night he was the Demon, or Samoa Joe's debut, or maybe it was Kevin Owens' debut, was when Itami got thrown into the car and taken out.
Yeah.
That's why everybody was speculating, it was Kevin Owens did it.
Yeah.
But he's been gone from NXT for so long, then that's not going to be the reveal.
Yeah, so maybe that's what it was. I couldn't remember whose debut it was.
I think it was Kevin Owens' debut because they were talking about, the day he debuts, Itami gets attacked. It's like, that's the most obvious reveal.
And that same night was the number one contender match between Tyler Breeze, Finn Balor, and Hideo Itami.
Yeah.
So they were saying like, maybe he, if Itami comes back, he can be like, Balor, you're the one who put me on the shelf. Now I'm coming for you or something like that. It makes sense if you want to turn Balor heel, but
until you said that, I was starting to think Hideo Itami's never coming back.
Yeah.
It's like he'll just quietly wait out his deal at home and then go back to Japan. But I do want to see him come back.
Oh yeah.
It's been so long. It's like, whatever. If it happens, it happens. If it doesn't, whatever.
Yeah, I'm just thinking he comes back, faces Balor at NXT Brooklyn 2 or whatever the hell they're gonna call it, and he wins with the GTS, and that Brooklyn crowd just goes batshit crazy.
That would be pretty awesome.
Calling it now. All right, moving on. I've only got a couple more things. This is something that I literally just read before coming on and recording, WWE is planning on doing a Roman Reigns versus John Cena program for SummerSlam.
Thoughts later.
Yes. All right. And lastly, I know you've got a lot of stuff to say about this, but TNA.
Yeah.
TNA. They have been evicted from where they claim their headquarters are for not paying rent, which is not surprising because they can barely pay their wrestlers. And they have moved to their warehouse where they ship out all of their shirts and stuff. But yeah, they're also still looking for investors, but it's not looking good. I'm honestly shocked they're still in business. Like,
you know what? I don't want them to go out of business for the sake of the professional wrestlers who call that company their paycheck. But my God, fuck Dixie Carter and everybody who runs that shit show clown car of a company.
yeah.
Just close the doors and move on.
Yeah. I mean, like, there's some guys on that roster who would, who could be going somewhere else and making money. Like, Drew Galloway, I think he would be cool to come back to either, NXT, WWE, whichever. I know there's a lot of fans out there that still want the Hardys to come back to WWE.
And they're planning on bringing them back at some point because their contracts expire middle of the year, summerish.
Yeah. And
I don't see those two guys being like, maybe Matt Hardy because he's been the world champ 4 times this year already, I think, or something.
Yeah, I could see
I don't see Jeff Hardy saying, "Yeah, I'll stick around."
Yeah, I could see them, leaving and then coming back and then, being inducted into the Hall of Fame next year or something. I don't know.
You have to have a company to have a Hall of Fame.
Well, yeah, that's true. Well, I'm saying, like, if they sign with WWE.
Yeah, they're. Oh, yeah. Okay, I was thinking TNA Hall of Fame. I'm like, yeah, the two guys who were in the Hall of Fame are all WWE people.
Yeah, exactly.
Which is the ultimate statement of how WWE light that company has been.
Yeah.
Your only 2, I think maybe Jeff Jarrett's in the Hall of Fame, so there's 3, but your first 2 Hall of Famers were made by other companies.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. And then Sting, who is WWE now, but is Jeff Jarrett and it was Kurt Angle, were 2 of your first Hall of Famers.
Well, it wasn't it. It was Jeff Jarrett, and then it was Sting, and then they did this whole thing where Sting wanted to induct Kurt Angle. I don't know how I know this. I haven't watched TNA in years.
Kurt Angle was the first inductee.
He was? I thought
Sting was the second, and I think Jeff Jarrett was this past year because they did the whole
Global Force whatnot.
Which I actually want to talk about that.
Go for it. I don't have any news and rumors before we get into anything.
This was brought up on the Solid Monsters podcast, and I just want to mention how foolish it is to think that Global Force Wrestling is ever going to get on television in North America. You taped television in, I think, August. You crowned a women's champion, a tag team champion, a world champion. The company is so far from being a real thing, he's taken to a pyramid scheme to get your money.
Yep, I did hear that.
So long, Global Force Wrestling. I don't care anymore.
No,
I actually had high hopes for that company, thinking, look, Jeff Jarrett knows what he's doing. He built TNA from the ground up, and it was actually worth something until he no longer had power. Maybe he can do it again. No, he can't do it again because the TNA rubbed off on him.
Yeah. Yeah, I whenever they first came out, I was just like, oh, all right, kind of cool, It's another wrestling organization, and I haven't heard anything about it since.
They keep talking about how they're close to getting a deal. Possibly they had this new, I guess, production company or like some company that kind of does this for you, like helping you like get inroads into, or basically networking. They kind of help you network.
Yeah.
They announced that a couple of months ago, and there hasn't been anything more. So I think they're pretty much on life support as is.
Yeah. All right. Well, do you have any news or rumors or anything before we get into Raw?
No, but one last thing on this. I'm surprised Jeff Jarrett hadn't taken to selling Bibles to people just to stay solvent, basically.
Just door to door.
Yeah, door to door, hotels and everything.
Yeah, exactly.
Whatever he has to do.
All right. Well, I guess we can get into Raw. Now, before the show started, their Twitter posted something saying due to popular demand, Shane McMahon is going to be running Raw again, which is just another.
And I immediately
Another
stuck my finger down my throat to induce vomiting.
Yeah, like just another reason to, the Taker Shane match. Like just another reason why that match is just pointless.
Shane McMahon opened up Raw
Yeah.
for the promo because stipulations don't matter.
Nope, not at all. But yeah, I did like the fact that he came out and like, all right, this is what you're gonna see tonight. You're gonna see, a women's championship match.
Jesus, get it right, man.
I know. I'm terrible at this. You're gonna see the start of a tag team tournament.
Which shocks the hell out of me because Vince McMahon is notorious for hating tournaments.
Well, yeah, and I was listening to one podcast this morning while I was at work, and they've got the tag team tournament, and then they have the Global Cruiserweight Series, and then they're thinking of doing the King of the Ring tournament in between these two. It's like, you don't need that many tournaments. Like, if you are going to do a King of the Ring, do it in like October or December, or later in the year.
Or wait until next year because the King of the Ring is a springtime event as it is.
Yeah, and
it always has been.
And I think their goal of the Cruiserweight Series is that if it goes well, they want to do this every year. I think I remember them saying that.
Yeah, I heard that too.
Which is cool because, once a year you get to see different guys come in and have matches. Shane,
once a year Neville can get a push.
Yeah, exactly. Shane also said that AJ Styles is going to face Sami Zayn, and if Zayn wins, he's inserted into the AJ Styles Roman Reigns title match at Payback, which instantly I thought, cool, AJ Styles is going to win. Even though I love Sami Zayn, but it makes no sense for Zayn to be in the title picture already.
I'm going to say it right now, people. You can thank Daniel Bryan for this. Actually, you can thank indie wrestling for this. Sami Zayn is de facto Daniel Bryan 2.0. He's never going to get pushed full time all the way to the top. He's going to get these start and stop. I think he's going to, he got the rug pulled out from under him. Aww.
Yeah.
It's how it's going to be until the man decides to call it a career.
Yeah.
He's not going to ever be WWE champion. He'll get to the doorstep and then he'll get pushed off the ledge.
I think as long as Vince is in control, he won't. But if Shane or, Triple H or, someone like that, I could maybe see him getting a title, further, like way down the road, not anytime soon. But I think just as long as Vince is in control, I don't think there's any way in hell.
Yeah, I agree. But get used to seeing Sami Zayn be in a match where if you win, you get a title shot, only to have him lose in spectacular fashion.
Yeah, the only way he'll win the match is if he puts his career on the line. And
then even then, they might do some kind of you're back to NXT kind of thing.
Yeah. Well, the only reason I say that is because he had like 3 title shots in NXT, and then the stipulation was, if I don't win, I'm gonna leave, and then that's how he won. But it was mainly because they were calling up Neville, so it was like.
Yeah, pretty much.
Yeah, but Shane announced that match, and then was interrupted by Kevin Owens. Says that he's tired of getting screwed over, and he wants the Intercontinental title back. And Shane said that if he can beat Cesaro, then he gets his match with Miz. And that led to the Cesaro vs. Kevin Owens match, and the winner will become the #1 contender for the Intercontinental title.
I want to say, that Cesaro entrance, that side stage James Bond entrance is the coolest.
I do like that, but...
Like, instead of shooting the gun, he pulls the suit off.
Yeah. Yeah, the whole suit thing is kind of bugging me.
Well...
I mean, it's going to be there for forever.
You're probably the only one, or maybe one of the few.
Yeah.
Just like Brock Lesnar. Get used to it because it's a reality.
Yeah, and it's not going anywhere anytime soon.
And this was a rematch of like every Ring of Honor show from like 2008 to 2010.
Yeah.
Pretty much.
Yeah.
This was a pretty good match.
Yeah, at one point in the match, I don't remember how it happened, but I know Owens got upset and I think he slapped JBL's cowboy hat off the table or something. but then he picked it up, set it back on the table, and looked at Bradshaw and was just like, "I'm sorry, I overreacted." uh, just his antics towards like some of the commentators, like he was on Main Event before. They always record Main Event before SmackDown and stuff.
Mm-hmm.
Well, he was on Main Event this week, and I haven't watched it, but I saw a video of it. He apparently won his match, and Rich Brennan, who was like the ex-NXT announcer, him and Jerry the King Lawler are the commentators. Well, Owens, after he won the match, tried to grab Rich Brennan's headset, like he tried jumping over the table, but he couldn't grab it. So instead, he grabbed Rich Brennan's phone. And then he just started celebrating it. He's like, "I've got your phone!" And then he threw it on the stairs.
Oh, God.
Yeah, I mean, granted, it had like an OtterBox or
okay.
Defender case, but it was still funny because they were like, "Oh, I think he broke your phone," and Jerry's just laughing his ass off.
Jerry Lawler doing Main Event.
Yeah, exactly. Throughout the match, they continued to show Miz and Maurice in the back, since he is the Intercontinental Champion.
Is this before or after the Charlotte Dr. Phil segment?
This is before.
Okay.
Yeah, this was the match right before it. Kevin Owens hit a really nice frog splash. For being a big guy, it's awesome how like agile he is.
Yep.
It's a shame he doesn't do more of that high flying stuff. Because he can do it. But JBL called that a bullfrog splash. Yeah. And then the end of the match happened when Cesaro tried to do the swing, but his shoulder kind of gave out. And then Owens picked him up, tried to do the pop-up powerbomb, but Cesaro reversed it and then turned it into the neutralizer and won the match.
Cool.
Yeah. And then this is the backstage segment with Ric Flair and Charlotte.
Which, for a guy who's never watched wrestling in his entire life, but is on TV, so he has the personality and whatnot,
yeah,
to kind of carry, he did pretty good. Hell, I don't believe he's ever watched an episode of Raw in his life. Because he's like, "Oh, I've watched you develop." I'm like, "No, you've never watched any wrestling ever."
Yeah,
like,
exactly.
Except for maybe the people who come on your show, you've had to like watch it for research, but you've never watched professional wrestling. Don't try to. I call it BS.
Yeah, but he outwooed Ric Flair.
I started to fast forward before that part happened, but I did hear that they had a wooing segment.
Well, the thing was, like, every time Ric Flair tried to do it, Dr. Phil would do it. So Flair didn't even get a chance to do it, but hey, it's whatever. Then there was another backstage segment where Owens he ran up to Shane McMahon and says that he's been screwed over every day since WrestleMania, and whatever he does to Sami Zayn tonight is on Shane's pretty gray hair. Then Shane says that he's not going to screw over Zayn again, and said to hit the lockers because he's getting escorted from the building. And
Shane's he's not starting to, but he is looking a hell of a lot like Vince McMahon.
Yeah.
Like he didn't look like it when he was younger, but in the last 10 years, he's fallen apart.
Yeah, he's definitely.
Let's just hope his I guess penchant for burying people and holding down certain people doesn't manifest itself like his father. Because Vince, certain people just will not ever get pushed. And like Zack Ryder, for instance, and there's a few other guys, Daniel Bryan, but they had to push him because the fans finally spoke up.
Yeah.
Let's hope the TV version of Shane is the real life version of Shane, where he actually wants to push the younger guys.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, I didn't buy that whole segment at all. I thought Owens was going to come back and cost Zayn the match later.
Well, because they always do. They always get in through the back door or the garage or something.
Yeah, they always come in through the crowd. I think that may be the first time in history that someone got thrown out and didn't come back.
So for all you people who crap on Kevin Owens, he's following the rules.
That is true.
He was told to go home, and he went home.
He is a good man.
Well, and as Stuart Scott used to say, you ain't got to go home, but you got to leave here.
Yeah. All right, the next segment was the New Day coming out, and they said that says that like NBA Jam, the tag team division is on fire. They come out and say that there's 8 teams that will be in a tournament. And then they showed the bracket, and this was and it is sponsored by Bootios, not like a legit. Like they could have gotten the opportunity to, they're like, oh, this, sponsored by Subway or something, but no, it's sponsored by Bootios, which I thought was funny. All right, and then the
Good for them.
Yeah, the reason they came out was because the whole tag team tournament, and then the first match was the Lucha Dragons against the Dudley Boys, and right as Dudley's came out, they went to commercial, and when they came back, Kalisto was injured on the outside.
Which was a work. It's not real,
Yeah,
apparently, which is good because
they don't
he's
need
the last
more.
person that needs to get hurt.
Yeah, exactly. But
you don't need your U.S. champion getting hurt and then having to have a United States tournament to determine a new champion.
Yeah, I think Sin Cara coming back was probably the worst thing that happened to Kalisto, because he's your U.S. champ, and he's been enough, like, besides the Ryback program, like, he's been in, like, he hasn't done anything with the U.S. belt.
So they should have put the belt on Ryback. Because he's back into a tag team. I don't like that idea, so don't put him back into a tag team. Have Sin Cara stay on NXT and have Kalisto be on Raw. They don't need to be a tag team. But if you insist on them being a tag team, don't be the U.S. champion.
Yeah. That whole thing didn't make any sense. But
it's like they want to have their cake and bury it too.
Yeah. During this match, it was a lot of Bubba Ray just yelling at everyone.
I love that. That's the best. That's Bully Ray right there.
Oh, yeah. He started yelling Viva Mexico while he was beating down Sin Cara. But yeah, this was a quick match, and Dudley's hit the 3D for the win.
I hope we get more of Bubba Ray just yelling at people. I hope during other people's matches he comes out and just yells at people.
Oh, yeah. Then after the match, Cass and Enzo came out. They didn't.
How you doing?
How you doing? They did their normal mic work, and the crowd chanted along with them. Bubba Ray said that they need to shut their mouths, and the crowd need to shut their mouths. The Dudleys said that the only reason that Cass and Enzo exist is because of Dudleys. And then Enzo said probably the best line of the night. He said, "No, Devin," which is his real name. He said the reason he exists is because his parents got it on. How you doing?
That's the best. I've rewound and listened to that like 7 times.
I just love how he just kind of throws away the "how you doing." He's like, no, Devin. My parents got it on. How you doing?
Devin, I love that. It's like,
oh yeah.
I completely forgot that was his real name, but I'm like, Devon, it's spelled Devin.
Yeah, exactly.
They just pronounce it Devon.
Yeah, I thought that was hilarious. But yeah, and then after this, they were going to commercial and said that after the commercial, Roman Reigns was coming up next, and I could hear the boos over the commentary and the music.
America hates the Roman Empire.
Yeah.
And I think Roman Reigns was cutting a good promo until those League of Nations jackwagons interrupted.
Yeah, he came out to a ton of boos. He says,
"Oh, of course, yes."
Yeah, he says it's all good because I'm not a good guy. I'm not a bad guy. I'm the guy. And
see, that crap needs to stop right now.
And the only reason I think he's saying that is because I'm assuming that's going to be his next T-shirt.
See, okay, fine, go fuck yourself, Vince McMahon. But that was what you cut post WrestleMania. Now you just come out and say, "I'm the man."
Yeah.
You don't need that whole lead up to, "I'm not a good guy, I'm not a bad guy, I'm the guy." Just say it. "I'm the guy."
Yeah.
And hold up your pretty little belt and then walk away.
Yeah, exactly. And then he was interrupted by the League of Nations. And then they came down to the ring to beat up Reigns, and then the Wyatts interrupted that.
Which was the complete coolest thing I've seen since the previous segment with Ric Flair and Dr. Phil. I'm starting to think the Wyatts are the good guys now, but then I'm thinking not quite. After the show is over, I'm thinking maybe it's not quite a full face turn just yet.
Yeah, I think it's weird because, like, I think they're pushing Bray to be a face, but all the rest of the Wyatts are still heels.
Yeah, they're still getting booed.
Yeah. But
and
yeah.
It's boos from a place of not, we get it, you're the bad guy. No, it's, we legitimately hate Eric Rowan and Beef Stroganoff, and we don't want to see them on our TV anymore. Boo, go home.
Yeah. But yeah, they cleared the ring, and then Reigns then turned to, the Wyatts then turned to face Reigns like they were going to fight, but Shane came out and said that he wanted to see more of this, so he then booked a match between Bray Wyatt and Reigns teaming up, and they were going to face 2 members of the League of Nations.
Now here's the third scenario for you.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe once again this is Bray Wyatt playing the long con with Roman Reigns, trying to, like, sucker him in, bring him in, make him think we're buddies. We have this common enemy, League of Nations at this point, because they're all kind of feuding with each other.
Yeah.
But over time, stick the knife in his back once you kind of gain his trust.
Yeah, exactly.
Now that he's hurt, I don't know, but from a place of Bray Wyatt is healthy enough to at least stay on TV, maybe that's the route they're going.
Yeah. Who knows?
Because it's their weird way of turning Roman Reigns more face. Oh, look, the bad guy stabbed him in the back and beat him up. Yeah, we don't like Roman Reigns. We love Bray Wyatt. We're going to cheer Bray Wyatt more now and boo Roman Reigns even more.
Mm-hmm.
That could be their mindset, trying to get him more over as a face. But it's not going to work. It's going to blow up in their face.
Yeah, and you could kind of tell during the match too.
Oh God, it's so obvious that people hate him.
Yeah. Also, when this was going on, I noticed that there's now quite a few, like, 3-man teams in WWE now. Like the Wyatt, well, mainly because Harper is injured, but
yeah,
the Wyatts have 3, League of Nations have 3, the New Day, soon to be Balor Club, Bulletproof. Looks like someone at WWE watches Lucha Underground. Ooh. I'm not saying they should implement a trios title or anything, but I just noticed that there's a lot of 3-man teams, because, like, even going back to, like, what they claim the start of the the revolution, the women's revolution, Divas Revolution, like, it was Team Bad, Team
Yep.
PCB, Team Bella, Team, it was all of these 3-person teams. So who knows? Maybe they got the idea from Lucha Underground.
It's possible.
Yeah. Coming up next was the women's championship match. Dr. Phil came out and sat at ringside.
What has Natalya done to deserve a women's title match? She's lost to Charlotte on more than one occasion this year. Multiple title matches or at least a couple title matches in NXT that she lost to Charlotte. But you're telling me she's the person who should be getting a women's title shot on Raw?
Look for
non-title, it's more than possible. And going forward, they're going to have a lot of women's championship matches, especially at Payback, unfortunately.
I thought I read earlier, and I think they said that they're planning on doing this feud for like 2 months.
Oh, well, I don't mind the feud itself. It's just, let it be a non-title match, and then have Natalya beat Charlotte, and then give her a title match.
Yeah.
But just to start off getting a title match, it's like you've done nothing to earn it in storyline, so I don't, whatever. It's a good match, though.
Yeah, it was a very good match. You can tell that Charlotte is still fairly new to wrestling, but the moonsault that she missed it, but the moonsault that she does is very pretty.
Okay, I'm going to try to say something here. This is probably going to come out completely wrong, but pardon me. I think Charlotte's put on a few pounds, and not in a bad way, because in NXT, she was very tall. I mean, she is very tall, but she always seemed like maybe she was a little too lanky for her frame.
Yeah.
But she seems like she's put on a couple of pounds, which she looks healthier, I should say. She doesn't look like a MMA fighter who cuts too much weight is what she looked like.
Yeah, not as, like, anorexic or whatever.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
It seems like she was cutting weight to fight her matches, and I'm like, you don't need to. You need to put on a couple of pounds.
Yeah, exactly. All right. But yeah, this was a really good match, and again, Ric Flair just needs to go away.
Yeah.
because he screwed the ending to this match. He pulled
I
the
don't know.
rest.
Maybe Dr. Phil has a point.
That's what whenever that was going on, like what he was saying was like, I'm pretty sure everyone in the world has been saying this. Like,
But it's too soon to turn her face. Or I mean, it's
well, I was thinking it would make her even more of a heel to be like, you know what, screw you, Dad. I don't need you anymore. Because
maybe kick him in the groin or something.
Yeah, I mean that's the thing to do nowadays.
He would start crying for sure, and maybe start bleeding.
Who knows? Both at the same time, probably.
He cries blood.
He would cry blood. Yeah, I was just about to say, beat me to it. All right, and the next matchup after that was the Usos versus Heath Slater and Curtis Axel in another tag team tournament match. And the first thing they say on commentary is that it is a tournament match. And JBL says, "I'm just glad that they didn't call it the Booty Bowl." And I just thought that was the best name for a tournament ever. If it's going
to be hosted by the New Day, then why not?
Yeah, I was surprised they didn't come up with when they didn't pitch that name. But yeah, I also realized that the Social Outcasts were in a match that actually mattered, as opposed to like a squash match. And then the match ended, and I was like, oh, that makes sense why.
Oh yes, best part of the show, baby.
Yeah, the Outcasts did the bow train on the outside while they were celebrating. The Usos got the tag. And then whenever, I think it was Axel or I don't remember who it was, but one of the Usos rolled up one of the Social Outcasts. And as they were celebrating, Luke Gallows and Carl Anderson showed up. Best part of the show, in my opinion.
They said former members of the Bullet Club, if I'm not mistaken.
They did. There was chants of the Bullet Club that you could audibly hear.
Hey, it's a real nice place you got here.
Yeah, I love that part. Yeah, at first I started to write down some notes on the mat, like just a little bit of notes, and I wasn't really paying attention to the ending. And then I heard Michael Cole freaking out, and I turned and I see Carl Anderson and Luke Gallows, and I jumped out of my chair and just started walking around. I was so excited.
It sounds so fake. Oh my God, that's Luke Gallows and that's Carl Anderson.
That's Carl Anderson.
It sounds so pre-produced the way they introduced these shocking moments.
Yeah, for the love of mankind, I hated that part at WrestleMania, but we'll go on. Sorry.
Yeah.
That was a very scripted moment that I hated. So yeah, they attack the Usos, and part of me was like, okay, well, are they going to start feuding with the Usos, or are they just kind of eliminating them so they can take their spot in the tournament?
Here's what I'm hoping. I'm hoping that.
I wrote down a scenario too, so.
Well, here's what I'm hoping. Luke Gallows was the fake Kane. Luke Gallows was Festus. And Luke Gallows was Luke Gallows.
Yep.
All three of those characters when he was first in WWE.
Mm-hmm.
And he just started getting traction as the Straight Edge Society guy before he was let go.
Mm-hmm.
And then he went to TNA as part of the Aces and Eights. He was getting over as a monster face before they let his contract expire without re-signing him.
Yeah.
So then he went to Japan. Got over huge. Go figure. I mean, that's just what this guy does is get over huge.
Yeah.
He got himself, he's in real great shape now. I mean, he's lost a few pounds. He's kind of toned up.
Yeah, he's definitely toned up. You can tell, especially from his days as Festus.
Hopefully, yeah, exactly. Because he was kind of, fake Kane was fat too. Because Kane was still fat at the time. Mm-hmm. I guess that kind of made sense. But I'm just hoping that they finally see that this guy is something worth pushing or someone worth pushing. And that, obviously, he's got a lot of buzz on the internet. And because he's been in Japan for a few years now.
Yeah.
Hopefully both of these guys get pushed and they don't just forget about him in 6 months.
Yeah. Part of my thinking about this was, why did they attack the Usos?
Because they're Roman Reigns' cousins and they're gonna help Roman Reigns defeat AJ Styles at Payback.
Oh, okay. Well,
I
was going the other way. I was thinking they're going to help AJ win, or at least maybe not win, but at least take out Reigns after the match or something.
Maybe attempt it and then Reigns pulls through.
Yeah, because I was thinking, they're attacking, the Usos, AJ's facing Roman Reigns.
That would be the ultimate fuck you to the internet if they put the Bullet Club with Roman Reigns.
Yeah, and they put the Usos with AJ Styles. Like, what are you doing? But yeah,
No, honestly, I like the idea of AJ Styles, coming back together with Guns and Gallows.
yeah, I
Because
do
it's
too.
like, oh, it was because they didn't really kick him out of the club. They were just kind of like along for the ride, and then they were kicked out of the club too. So
Yeah.
it's kind of like
Hey,
brothers by betrayal, kind of
yeah,
thing.
and then
But you know what? Putting Roman Reigns with two indie darlings, that's not the worst idea.
hey, and they're making it look like Luke Gallows and Carl Anderson are heels. Roman Reigns is technically a face, but
Well,
everybody hates
they're
him.
gonna get monster cheers until they if they were to beat down AJ Styles, that would get them heel heat.
Yeah,
But if they just go around beating up the Usos, they're gonna get cheered because everybody loves the Bullet Club.
yeah. I'm thinking that they, I'm hoping, I'll say this. I hope that they team with AJ Styles and then at like SummerSlam Finn Balor gets called up and then maybe, Finn Balor takes out AJ or, that sets up a Finn Balor AJ feud or, maybe they just all team together and they just wreck shop on everyone.
That would be cool.
Because I think it'd be cool to see, AJ is World Heavyweight Champion, Finn Balor is Intercontinental Champion, and Luke Gallows and Carl Anderson as the tag champs, and just have them just running, the WWE and just be like, y'all
You're,
can't, yeah,
you're
y'all
speaking
can't,
my language now.
yeah, and then maybe further down the like, maybe couple, a year or two, introduce like a woman, like a female member, and have it be someone like Becky Lynch or Paige, someone.
It's gonna be Becky Lynch at
Oh,
some point. I forgot I left this out of our WrestleMania predictions because I had alluded to it at the beginning. At some point, Becky Lynch is going to get together with Finn Balor in some form or fashion. Because every time they show a Finn Balor video package, it's Becky Lynch talking him up.
oh
It's like
yeah.
they're both from Ireland.
I'm surprised they're not dating.
Exactly. They seem to be made for each other.
Yeah.
I don't know how weird Becky Lynch is in real life, but Finn Balor plays with Legos, which is cool. Finn
Yeah.
Balor is kind of a nerd, which is cool, I mean, if she's a nerd, they're made for each other.
Yeah. Also, I loved her backstage interview about Emma. Did you?
Oh yeah, I
Yeah.
did not see it, but I heard her say, at least I don't steal stuff or whatever.
Yeah, she said something along the lines of Emma said like she stole something from her, and Becky said, "Well, hey, listen, I'm not the one who steals things."
Yeah, that's what it was.
Yeah, it was something along the lines. But yeah, Luke Gallows and Anderson are here, and I'm one happy boy.
And next it was The Miz and her husband on the TV in their locker room.
Yeah, and honestly, like I was on the phone for this, so I wasn't really paying attention.
Essentially, he doesn't like blue M&Ms, and it's in his contract. No
Yeah.
blue M&Ms.
But to be honest, I wouldn't have paid attention anyway.
And what is a athlete of his caliber doing eating M&Ms in the first place?
Yeah.
Bro, you're a professional wrestler. You shouldn't smoke, you shouldn't have soda, and you shouldn't have candy.
You shouldn't smoke, but tell that to Shinsuke Nakamura, who was
Yes,
like...
smokes like a chimney.
Yeah, exactly. He's
And Randy Orton smokes like a chimney. He's always there's video of him bumming cigarettes in the driveway or the parking lot from fans.
Oh yeah.
There's that one famous video. He's walking through, completely out of character. He's like, "Hey, can I get one? Can I get one?" He bums a cigarette. He's like, "You got a light?" he bums the smoke from a fan.
Yeah, I think now they're making a big deal about it. At least on the We Watch Wrestling podcast about him vaping now.
Oh, yeah, Big Show vapes, Randy Orton vapes.
Yeah. But yeah.
I'm surprised during the Stone Cold podcast, Big Show didn't use the towel in one hand to cover up the beer and then bend over under the table and vape.
Yeah, that would have just made it so much better. I wasn't paying attention to that Ms. Marie Cesaro.
I wish I wasn't paying attention to that.
All right, and then the match following that was one match that I didn't really take many notes during because I wanted to watch this match. It was AJ Styles versus Sami Zayn.
Oh yes, it was a good match.
Yeah, it was. There were so many spots in this that I really liked. Like I know Sami Zayn does it pretty much in every match, but his dive he does over the top rope, I really like that.
They need to tone down the diving over and through and under the ropes.
Yeah,
There
is some that They do it a lot.
The only good part about Luke Harper being hurt is the fact that he will not be diving out of the ring anytime soon.
Hey, just wait for Beef Stroganoff to do it.
That man's gonna land on his head and kill himself.
Yeah.
You're gonna be seeing an R.I.P. Braun Strowman, like 1983 through 2016, if he does that.
Yeah. But yeah, there's.
AJ needs a haircut.
Yeah, he what was it?
That's my one match of note for this match. Is he needs a haircut.
He was interviewed on the Sam Roberts podcast, and they asked him about his hair, and he's like, I hate my hair. He's like my wife loves it, but
long hair is a heel thing. It's like bad guys have the long hair, good guys have the short hair.
Maybe he had the long hair because they had the Bullet Club plan in mind, and now he's going to be a heel. Who knows?
I doubt WWE planned this far ahead, but I'll give him the benefit of the doubt.
Yeah. I mean, it hasn't. I mean, we've done it before and we've been shot down before, but hopefully with this, hopefully.
Fingers are currently crossed.
Yeah. Sami Zayn landed a beautiful Blue Thunder Bomb.
Yes.
I thought it seemed like he spun like 4 times before he actually landed the move.
Which prompted the What a Maneuver guys to introduce a new shirt, the Blue Thunder Bomb. I want that shirt. I really want that shirt.
Yeah, I do like that one too.
It looks like a child scribbled it with a crayon. Yeah. I want that shirt so bad.
Yeah, I do like that. It is pretty cool. And then he almost landed or they were on the top rope, and Styles like went for the I think like a sunset flip or something, and Sami Zayn like he was supposed to land on his feet, but he like landed on the top of his head, which didn't affect him at all. And then he tried to turn that into the haluva kick, but Styles reversed it and then landed the phenomenal forearm, as they're calling it, and then he got the pin.
That's his finisher? Like, other than the Styles Clash? I don't buy it.
That's one of 3.
I know the calf killer, or I'm sorry, the calf crusher, they're calling it.
Well, it's the calf crusher, the springboard forearm, which they're calling the phenomenal forearm.
Which is not a bad name. It's just I don't buy it as the finishing move.
I buy that one more as a finishing move than the Superman punch.
Hey now, watch yourself.
I'm just saying. Roman Reigns.
He drives a really cool car.
But yeah, and I mentioned it earlier, but I wrote down in my notes, after this match I got to thinking, Bullet Club show up to take out the Usos, AJ's facing Reigns. Could we see a Bullet Club versus Usos Reigns feud? I think that'd be kind of cool, and I don't know.
I say sometime in the next 2 weeks, Vince Russo picks up a job writing and he swerves us all and has the Bullet Club beat them all up.
Oh man, that'd be, yeah.
NXT champion versus WWE champion.
Ayo. Right. Next up was the highlight reel with Chris Jericho, and he says it's the biggest highlight reel of all time, and he's got the biggest star, and it was himself. Dean Ambrose interrupted him and says that this is his show now, hands him a note from Shane saying that the highlight reel is now the Ambrose Asylum, and Jericho is now his first guest. And he tells, one of my favorite parts was the crowd was booing, and then Dean just says, hey, don't boo my guests. And then also he says, the whole world wants to know, what's up with that scarf, dude? And then he says he paid $750 for it, which is a freaking ripoff, if I've heard of one.
I just don't want to see Jericho versus Ambrose ever.
Yeah, we'll get used to it, because they're probably going to be fighting at Payback.
I'll be fast-forwarding a lot of segments on Raw the next couple of months.
Yep, and the way they've been booking Ambrose, I wouldn't be surprised if they put over Jericho in that match.
Hey, why not? He beat AJ Styles.
Yeah. But they did a SmackDown promo saying that there's going to be the remaining 2 tag team tournament matches, Golden Truth versus the Vaudevillains, and Cass and Enzo versus the Ascension.
There are 3 tag teams who shouldn't be in this tournament, but because they only have, 9 tag teams, They have to put 3 of them in there. Golden Truth, who I didn't even think was a tag team to begin with, the Social Jobbers, and you just named them, the Ascension.
Yep.
What the heck? Okay, at least it isn't just giving them a title shot. They have to earn it by winning the tournament. What have you done to even be in the tournament to earn a shot?
Yeah, they're on the roster, and that's about all I can think of.
Win a match on Superstars, and then we might talk.
win a match in general.
Exactly.
Yeah, but I've already read the results, so I mean, you can guess who's gonna win those matches.
I'm sure the Vaudevillains won,
Yeah.
and I'm sure the Ascension didn't win.
Yes. So yeah, it sets up again, like it sets up the Vaudevillains versus possibly the Usos. Like I didn't know if like hopefully on Monday they'll like Luke Gallows and Anderson will show up and be like, you know, maybe they're trying to take the Usos spot, or maybe they just want to feud with the Usos. I don't know. Or maybe they cost the Usos the match versus the Vaudevillains, and that's what sets up the feud or something.
Maybe they're just attacking people who look different than them.
Yeah. It's like, hey, you're not bald. Die.
I was thinking along the lines of maybe skin color, but hey, you know,
Nope.
hair matters too.
Yep.
Because they've been kind of keeping to themselves like lately. They haven't been on social media. They finally broke free of the Japan thing. Why don't you just go wreck the whole locker room? Like just let loose, because it kind of got old. Like they didn't really do a whole lot of that like Bullet Club beatdown stuff toward the latter part of their Japan career. There was more just like straight tag team matches. I mean, the Bucks got involved here and there, but just go back to wrecking the entire locker room.
Yeah. I think it'd be cool if they just destroy. Yeah, like you were saying, just destroy. Run in on every match. It doesn't matter. Just every match. I know they've done that before with like I think Lesnar did it once, and Austin's done it before.
Or like a reverse New Japan thing, like. They beat up, obviously they were like one of the only Americans in the company, so they beat up all the Japanese wrestlers.
Yeah.
We're here to beat up all the American wrestlers because we're from Japan.
Yeah, exactly.
We're doing the reverse takeover.
Yeah. All right. Next match was a short squash match. Apollo Crews beat Adam Rose with his spinning.
I didn't even take notes on this match.
That was all I wrote down, and then everything else I wrote down was I wish they would take Apollo Crews more serious.
He started to get less smiley and more serious in NXT.
Well, no. I'm saying like not the character. Like I would say like the.
I know what you're saying.
Yeah,
I know what you're saying.
Management and everything, because
like they started to drop that I'm the smiling nice guy gimmick and started to get at least more serious about stuff. He didn't smile a whole lot, which was like, okay, you're never gonna get over being the smiling happy baby face because that didn't work for John Cena. It's not gonna work for you.
Yeah. And I know WWE has a habit of not pushing the NXT guys, you know, a la
exactly
Tyler Breeze, Adrian Neville, Bo Dallas.
But this guy's like
going on.
Chiseled out of stone, and Vince McMahon loves that. Why is he getting these throwaway matches on Raw?
Yeah, I mean, no one is going to take him serious if he's going to be facing the social outcast every week.
But then again, he didn't have a whole lot of matches on NXT. Like he didn't have a run, so. Possibly, and I'm thinking maybe they're just seeing what he's made of, and then is he worth pushing?
Yeah, and I'm not saying he needs to be facing, you know, Cena and Reigns, anything like that, but put him in matches with some of the, you know, the upper mid card guys, you know,
or give him a story to work toward, like some kind of. I'm not just having a match. This match is because of.
Yeah, like I'd like to see him, you know, like I know Ziggler's kind of feuding with Baron Corbin, I think.
That's
maybe.
A feud.
Well, I think.
I
was taking that as like I think they're going. This is the start of a feud.
Yeah, he shows up and beats down Ziggler and then doesn't even appear on Raw this week.
Yeah, they did because the thing after this was a video package, which I did like, but we have yet to see a Sami Zayn versus Kevin Owens video package explaining their background. But yeah, it was a good video package. It made Baron Corbin look strong. And then the main event. Bray Wyatt and Roman Reigns for Sheamus and Alberto Del Rio. And this was an alright match. I was kind of in and out. I was kind of trying to do homework at the same time. JBL
said the dumbest. Why did they say the dumbest shit on commentary?
I don't know.
JBL, in reference to Bray Wyatt and Roman Reigns, said, "This is a rivalry like no other. Like, in the history of professional wrestling, there has never been a rivalry like this one." I can name 3 right now. John Cena versus the fans.
Yeah.
Bret Hart versus Shawn Michaels, and Rock versus Austin.
Austin versus McMahon.
Yeah. Okay, there's your 4th one.
Macho Man Hulk Hogan.
5.
Yeah, I mean, it's like there's like at least 10 or 15 that we could think of before going to Reigns.
There's such a heated blood feud that it's never been this intense. I'm like, shut up.
Yeah. Yeah, there's a couple parts during this match where like Bray was getting beat down and then he got the hot tag to Roman Reigns and like you could hear crickets. Like there was like no one.
Yeah.
But whenever whenever Reigns got the hot tag to Bray Wyatt, the crowd like they got really behind it. So Vince McMahon, listen.
No, he doesn't listen. That's why we have Roman Reigns in this position right now, because he doesn't listen.
Nobody wants Roman Reigns as the top guy. So just put the belt on AJ Styles, and then Reigns go somewhere else. Go U.S. title. You versus Kalisto. Have fun. But at the end, Bray hit the Sister Abigail, and there's a really cool a GIF. If you go to our Twitter at JJ Wrestling Show, it's on there. Right as he's getting the 3 count, he's not even paying attention, and he just points to Sheamus, and right as he points, Roman Reigns spears him, which I thought that was a really cool ending. But yeah, Bray Wyatt and Roman Reigns win. And overall, I thought this was a really good show. It was way better than the post-Mania show. And this is
the first episode of Raw in maybe a year that I've liked.
Yeah. And this was a really good show, and this was just based on the wrestlers. Like, you could have taken, no storyline, no nothing. I mean, there was a bunch of, good matches. I mean, we saw Cesaro versus Owens, AJ Styles versus Sami Zayn, Apollo Crews, the debut of Guns and Gallows, Cass and Enzo cut a funny promo. Granted, you do have to put up with Reigns being the champion right now, but this is a good time to be a fan of the WWE.
Hopefully they won't derail this momentum in 1 week.
Yeah. Hopefully. So yeah, that does it for Raw. Excuse me. I guess we'll move on to some Ring of Honor. Started out with this is the episode you watched, Roppongi Vice vs. War Machine.
Yep, and Mr. Wrestling 3 singing along to the Roppongi Vice theme song and dancing at the ringside.
Roppongi Nights. Roppongi Vice. Yeah.
I love Mr. Wrestling 3.
Yeah,
I do miss the hell out of Steve Corino, but Mr. Wrestling 3 is a more than suitable fill-in.
Yeah, I mean, even Mr. Wrestling 2, I mean, he does pretty good as well.
Well, I think he retired, right?
I don't know. I thought he was on a couple weeks ago.
I don't know. I can't ever keep track of the masked guys.
Yeah, I don't know.
But yeah, RPG Vice versus War Machine. It was a really good tag team match. It picked up toward the end.
Yep.
But we did find out that joisting is a sport. And when called on it, Mr. Wrestling 3 lets us know that joisting is the English version of jousting.
Ooh, okay.
Because he said War Machine had each member of RPG Vice, and they were going to throw them like lawn darts into each other.
Mm-hmm.
And he goes, "It's joisting, my favorite sport." And Kevin Kelly's like, "Joisting? What is that?" "Oh, it's like jousting, but it's the English version." I was like, "Oh, that he covered his botch very well."
Yeah, exactly. But yeah, this was a good match. And
I really did enjoy this match. It was very, very, very fast paced, and kind of War Machine was kind of like, I thought for a second, oh, they're gonna lose the belts? What? before they fight the Briscoes?
Yeah.
But yeah, they won with their Fallout, and that was it.
Yeah. And then up next, Donovan Dijak came out to the ring with Prince Nana.
Oh man, this is what I've been waiting for like 6 months now.
Yeah.
Donovan Dijak versus Jay Lethal for the belt.
I love that he came out wearing a Jay Lethal t-shirt.
That was cool, and then he just pulls it off and says,
exactly.
Not anymore.
Yeah, he said that he's only had one purpose in Ring of Honor, and that was to protect Jay Lethal in the House of Truth, and then started to go on about something else before he was confronted by Jay Lethal and Taylor Hendricks, and they started fighting, and it was broken up by security.
I'm sure Donovan Dijak is the face, but Prince Nana started off, "You idiots want to know what's in these envelopes," and I'm like,
yeah, exactly. It's like,
is he still a heel? But then Donovan Dijak was a complete face. I'm like, I'm confused here.
Yeah, it was a little weird.
It's a baby face with a heel manager. I don't understand that concept, but Yeah, and then they re-showed the mule kick he gave to Truth Martini.
Yeah, and
Like,
then he like he's like, huh!
I was like, oh, seeing it back for a second time, that looked terrible. I was like,
Oh yeah.
you just locked up. Like, I'm like, nope, you're not even close to being hurt. So I kind of thought maybe they were trying to write off a legit injury, get him off TV for a little while. But because I think he still wrestles independently from time to time.
Yeah, he still does independent stuff, and I know he was overseas, like in England and Germany and stuff, a couple months ago.
But no, that was a completely horrible sell of a kick to the face. I'm like, he's coming back in like 3 weeks at the next pay-per-view or whenever it is.
Yeah. And then after this, Dalton Castle cut a backstage promo and says that every time that him and Silas Young have fought, his goals have been different. Tonight, he's fighting to hurt him. And then the following match after this was ACH versus the Cleaner, Kenny Omega.
Which, if you caught it, it was back-to-back Ring of Honor shop commercials with Kenny Omega and ACH.
Both that's true.
Selling merchandise, and then right into their match.
Yeah, I do want to get that Kenny Omega T-shirt.
Which that's the same 2 commercials they have every week. It wasn't like they were planning it that way.
And
it just happens to be those are their 2 merchandise spokespeople right now.
Yeah, that's very true.
But it played perfectly. I did like the synergy.
Yeah. Kenny Omega and the Young Bucks came out, and Omega was holding his patented broom, and he grabbed a headset and started singing his music into the headset.
That was great.
And then I loved how he was just like he was like, oh, I'm out of breath.
Now, which one's the blonde young buck?
That's Nick.
Okay. I like how he super kicked ACH and then threw a banana peel on the floor.
Threw the banana.
He slept. He slipped on a banana peel.
And then the crowd started chanting, he slipped. And then I love that Omega grabbed the broom and cleaned it up.
Yeah, that was nice.
Also, ACH has one of the best springboards out of the ring in wrestling right now.
Yeah, did you see that? Like,
yeah, he does
got
it
out of the ring and then rolled under the ropes.
Yeah, like he'll jump from inside the ring, but he'll springboard off the second rope. That move, he does it in almost every match, and every time he does it, I'm like, that is amazing.
Well, there was that one thing where Omega like suplexed him or whatever. He fell onto the ropes and then bounced up and rolled under. Like, that was crazy.
Oh, okay, I gotcha. Also, there was a segment in this match where they had a match a couple years ago in PWG where ACH was acting like Stone Cold, and Kenny Omega was acting like The Rock, and they kind of recreated that moment during this match.
Yep, stunner, and then Omega rolled off it like The Rock does, bounced off the ropes.
Also, if you go online and find this clip, whoever is listening, the announcer loses his mind. The place is going batshit crazy, and it's so funny because Matt McCarthy and Vince Averill of the We Watch Wrestling podcast are sitting in the front row, and their jaws are just dropped. They can't believe what they are watching. It is so funny. Yeah, but towards the end of the match, ACH tried hitting his 450 splash, but Omega moved, hit a flying knee, then landed the one-winged angel for the pinfall.
That's a wicked looking finisher.
Oh yeah, I really like that.
So you can cripple somebody on a Styles Clash, but you can't cripple somebody on a one-winged angel? That doesn't make any sense. Yeah. You're basically spiking them headfirst into the mat.
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah.
And then the main event was Dalton Castle versus Silas Young in a fight without honor.
This was a very good match.
Yeah, Silas Young came out holding a trash can lid. Dalton Castle ran to the ring and immediately started fighting Silas Young. And what I liked about it was that they went straight to the outside and started fighting, but the crowd kept throwing the streamers into the ring as if Dalton Castle was still there.
Let's rewind to the James, do you have anything to get off your chest segment?
Okay.
People, stop with the streamers. Just stop throwing streamers to American wrestlers.
Yeah.
I understand it's like Ring of Honor has this partnership with New Japan, but my God, it's got to stop. It's like the what chant. It's got to stop. Just stop, please. Okay, back.
That what chant needs to go away.
Back to Ring of Honor.
At one point, Silas Young powerbombed Dalton Castle onto some chairs.
That was pretty wicked.
Yeah, it looked painful because they didn't give at all.
Nope.
he
and
just
then one
hit
tipped
and
over.
kinda
That was
rolled.
it.
Yeah. Towards the end of the match, Dalton Castle was going for the bangerang, but Silas Young grabbed the ropes and Castle flipped him out of the ring and he went through a table.
There was one spot where he legitimately knife edge chopped the post.
Oh,
Like
must have missed that, but yeah.
He was going to do a knife edge chop. He got one, and then he went for a second one, and Silas Young ducked, and Castle hit the post. Like, usually when they chop, they can slap their thigh and make the noise on certain moves, but you can't slap anything to make a ping noise. He hit the post with his hand.
Yeah.
And I think maybe he went palm first, but he hit it, and I'm like, oh, that doesn't feel good at all.
Either way, I mean, you're slapping a thing of steel. I mean, that's
and then later in the match, he went for it again, and Silas Young ducked, and he faked him out, basically, and then tried to get him to duck a second time, but oh my god, I'm like, he broke his hand. That is scary looking. Yeah.
After Silas Young went through the table, the crowd started chanting, "You just killed him."
Yeah, loudly and clearly.
Yeah. And then right towards the end of the match, Silas Young spit on Dalton Castle, and as he was kind of beating him up, and then Castle kind of snapped out of it and pushed Young into the ropes, and then grabbed him and hit the bangerang on a chair and won the match.
I don't really like his finisher. Like, it's...
Yeah, it doesn't really...
It's as weak as the belly to Bailey.
It's very similar to the AA that John Cena does. I mean, not similar as in, like, you know, move-wise, but, like, on a scale of 1 to 10, like, painful, like, finisher-wise, like, the bangerang, I think, would hurt a little more than the AA,
I mean, it's
but...
definitely more devastating than the big end, or the big ending.
Oh, yeah, definitely.
That's, like, the worst finisher ever.
Yeah. But yeah, Dalton Castle ended up winning, and hopefully I'll be getting one of his shirts soon. I want to buy one.
I haven't seen any of his merchandise.
Yeah, they had a couple at the Ring of Honor tapings that I've been to. Last time I went, I got a Bullet Club shirt and then just a generic, like, Ring of Honor hooded shirt. But my next one that I wanted to get the Dalton Castle one, but I was like, nah, I can wait.
Yeah, as soon as I go back to Hot Topic, I'm probably going to get one of those multicolored lime green John Cena shirts. I'm just kidding. I'm not buying one of those.
No.
I did pick up a really cool Sasha Banks shirt today.
Legit boss.
Yep.
All right. I haven't had a chance yet to watch Lucha Underground. Hopefully I'll get to watch it. I may try to watch it tonight. I don't know. NHL playoffs are going on right now, so I may start watching that. But
really? Wow. I'm not even into hockey anymore, apparently, because I love hockey playoffs, and then the last couple of years it's been, whatever.
Ever since I moved up to Nashville, I'm obsessed with hockey now.
Yeah, you're probably going to see Lana and Rusev at a game.
Yeah, I thought I saw them driving on the road a couple weeks ago.
You probably just saw some homeless guy who stole a car.
Well, probably. I mean, it was a Maserati, and it was like I tried catching up to it, and it's a Maserati.
You're stalking Rusev's doppelganger.
Yeah. Well, the thing was, like, it was a big dude in the driver's seat with dark hair, and in the passenger seat was a skinny blonde girl. And
how many people in Nashville drive a Maserati?
Not many.
You probably actually did see Rusev and Lana.
Probably.
But you mean you didn't follow them back home and try to take, like, their phone number and license plate down to get a hold of them? Yeah. Get an autograph? I mean, come on. What kind of a stalker are you?
He drove a Maserati. I drive a Toyota Camry. I'm not going to catch up to it.
Exactly. I mean, the show was, I wasn't really into it, people. I gave up halfway through, and I'm not going to go back and finish it.
Yeah.
The best part for me was the opening where Dario, in his office, forces Johnny Mundo, Taya, and Cage to be a trios team. Mm. And Cage, he went to say his catchphrase, "I'm not a man, I'm a machine," but he got the "I'm not a man" out, and then Dario goes, yeah, you're a machine. We get it. Mm. And then he's like, yeah, I am. And then he walks out of the office. But Dario's reasoning being that he put together, was it Angelico, Son of Havoc, and Ivelisse, and they hate each other, and they won the championship. So you go out and be a champion or something. He's trying to get them to, like, I guess, bond over this tournament.
Yeah.
And then Argenis fought Killshot, which Killshot's new motto is "Leave every man behind." Apparently,
Yeah.
he's wearing dog tags now, which probably has the names of every man he abandoned behind enemy lines. People, his backstory admitted that he left his team behind enemy lines, yet he's still the babyface. I don't understand.
Yeah. I don't know.
And Stryker claimed he had a conversation with Killshot and tried to get him to open up about his military background, but Killshot didn't want to talk about it. I'm like, and his reasoning being that most people who serve don't want to talk about what they've done overseas.
Yeah.
My reasoning is, no, fuckhead, he doesn't want to speak to you because you're Matt Stryker and nobody likes you.
Uh-huh.
Asshole. I hate that guy.
If you want to know how he really feels, go back and listen to episode 6.
Yeah, Matt Stryker had too many lame military references. It was horrible. And now, what's cool, I don't know her name, but it's the Asian chick who's been hanging out with Dario lately.
Is it something Lotus? Is it something?
Something probably. I kept wanting to say Cobra Moon, but that's the other woman.
Oh, she's terrible.
Yeah. This Asian chick killed Dragon Azteca. But when Dragon Azteca Jr. comes up to her, apparently they're from the same tribe, and they know each other very well. Dragon Azteca was their master. Mm. So he says, who killed Dragon Azteca? And she said, the monster did. She didn't say Matanza, she said the monster did. But she also didn't admit that she killed him. So they're going somewhere with that, apparently, which I kind of want to see where they go, because she said she's only been working with Dario because she didn't want Matanza to kill her. But she kind of seemed really eager to kind of hang out with Dario and his brother, so I don't know what's going on there.
Yeah.
And then Daga versus Tejano in a Gift of the Gods medallion match. This is where I just stopped. I don't even know who won the match. So I'm going to go back and finish it off, but I was late last night. I was tired. I didn't feel like finishing it.
Yeah.
Recording on a short week kind of threw me off.
Yeah, that's true.
I usually don't watch Lucha until late Wednesday or sometime Thursday, maybe even Friday some weeks. So that's it for the Lucha segment. We'll get better. We'll get better next week, people.
Yeah, definitely. So I just turned on my TV to see what was happening on SmackDown, and I just looked at I don't know if let me see real quick. Where's the info?
Oh wait, they're not on Sci-Fi anymore? Oh, that's right, they're on USA.
Oh, they're on USA. Yeah, the info that my TV has is completely wrong.
I have it on Raw right now, and I pull up the info guide. It says Sports Wrestling 2016. The stars of the show are Rich Brennan, Jerry Lawler, and Booker T. No information available.
Huh.
But you've got cable and I've got satellite, so I don't know what the disconnect is there. What does yours say?
Mine says WWE SmackDown. It says new, HD, and a triple main event. New U.S. champ Kalisto faces Alberto Del Rio. The Dudley Boys face the Wyatt families, Luke and Eric, in a tables match. And Dean Ambrose and Neville tackle Owens and Sheamus.
That was 3 months ago, wasn't it?
Yep, it was.
Because I remember the Kalisto Del Rio matches, but I don't remember the other matches.
Yeah. Right now they're just showing what's happening, or what happened on Raw.
They're doing their hourly Raw recap.
Yep, I'm going to switch the channel, and what's on? Philadelphia versus Washington, hockey. Sweet. All right, so that's it for Lucha, right?
What's that, NBC Sports Network?
Yes, sir. Yeah, this game's on now, and then the game after is Dallas and Minnesota.
It just says NHL hockey. I guess that must be playoffs?
Yeah, okay. The playoffs started yesterday.
Well, I'm a big Dallas Stars fan. I haven't had much to cheer for in the last several years.
Well, they were...
They're the best. They're the best in the conference. I know that.
Yeah.
First place.
Yep. Jamie Benn, Tyler Sagan, Jason Spezza. There's a lot of good players on that team.
Yep. I'm still stuck in the days of Mike Modano.
Mike Modano, yeah.
1999, baby.
Yes, sir. All right, we'll hop into NXT, kind of run through this because it was mostly enhancement matches.
I like how William Regal started off the show by running down the match card.
Yeah.
Or just who was going to be on the show.
Hey, Washington just scored.
Damn, you're like 3 seconds ahead of me.
Yeah.
They just scored now.
Who? Oh, was it Backstrom? No, it wasn't Backstrom. Who scored?
Carlson?
I don't know. They zoomed in on Backstrom, but normally unless it was Ovi. Oh no, it must be Backstrom because they're celebrating with him. Unless
okay.
Or was it Oshie?
They're showing everybody now. Maybe Oshie got the assist.
It tipped off. It was either Carl. I don't know.
It was Carlson. He's
unless they're saying
unless
it went off of Oshie. No, it didn't go off Oshie. Yeah, it must be Carlson goal. All right.
It went off the defender though.
Oh, okay. So yeah, it would still be a Carlson goal then.
Yeah.
All right. NXT started with, like you were saying, William Regal kind of running down some matches.
Austin Aries versus Angelo Dawkins.
Yeah, this was, every time Dawkins did a move or tried to do something like to kind of get the crowd going, whether it be in a heel way or face way, yeah, the crowd did nothing.
Real quickly, I want to play the role of Tom Phillips and Corey Graves.
Okay.
Tom Phillips. Why does he wear 2 headbands? Corey Graves. Because he can, Tom.
Because he can, Tom.
Tom. I can too, but I don't. That was just a great exchange.
Yeah, Carlson got the goal. Cool. Right. Yeah, and into the match came when Aries whipped Dawkins into the ropes, and then he hit him with his rolling elbow. God
damn that elbow! He knocked him clean out.
Yeah, that was like right in the neck too.
At first I was thinking, is Aries gonna be just fighting all big guys and having big guy matches? But no, it picked up after a while, and he beat the fuck out of Angelo Dawkins.
Yeah, he did. After this was a backstage segment with Samoa Joe, and he says that the goal hasn't changed even though he lost, and next week he's going to be fighting Apollo Crews.
Yeah, he's bringing the war to Finn Balor at some point, and next week Apollo Crews is in the crosshairs.
Yes, sir.
So this must have been, I know this was filmed after TakeOver because the scar on his eye and all the references.
This was filmed at the Access. That was going on during like Mania weekend. So this either happened Saturday or Sunday before Mania.
Okay. Because, Bayley cut a promo where she talked about losing the match, so it wasn't like that Samoa Joe was just thrown in post-production. This was actually all the way filmed after.
Yeah. And that kind of brings me to my next one. The next match was Tessa Blanchard, who is the daughter of Tully Blanchard, right?
Yes.
Yes, okay. And she went up against Alexa Bliss. Also, this was Tessa Blanchard's first match, so this was clearly an enhancement match. But I will say this. I normally love Corey Graves, and him and Mauro Ranallo is like my dream team, like on commentary. But he said that Asuka beating Bayley was basically the same thing as Brock Lesnar beating The Undertaker.
Okay, I see where you're going with this.
That was the one thing where I was just like, what the hell are you talking about? Like,
yes, the crowd was shocked, but not that much.
The crowd was shocked, but I think they were more like shocked at the fact that it was like, oh, the match ended? Like,
yeah, that's exactly how it was.
Yeah, so it was like not necessarily like, oh shit, Bayley lost. She was never supposed to lose.
Exactly.
It was just like no, like Asuka beating Bayley is Asuka beating Bayley. It's nowhere near Brock Lesnar beating The Undertaker.
Corey Graves was clearly not in the Superdome that night. You didn't have people openly weeping because Bayley lost, except for that maybe that bratty, spoiled child that's her super fan.
Yeah, she was
there.
People
were openly weeping in the Superdome. People were having heart attacks and passing out. People were jumping from the dome. I mean, this was a crazy night when The Undertaker lost.
Yeah, you were there.
Yeah, people were literally jumping from the upper deck.
Huh.
No, not. They were almost jumping.
Metaphorically jumping.
They didn't know how to contain themselves, other than just jaw on the floor and no air in their lungs, gasping.
Yeah. It was very, very quiet when Undertaker lost. But
yeah, downright depressing.
Yeah. But Corey Graves said that, and I just thought, what the no.
Who told you to say that, Corey?
Yeah, that makes no sense. But yeah, this match was okay. It was a decent match for a beginning match.
I like Alexa Bliss a lot.
Yeah, I think she can definitely. I mean, now that Bailey, not Bailey, Charlotte and Sasha and Becky, they're all gone, and like they need, women to step up. I think she can definitely be one of those that can, like when Bailey leaves, like her, Alexa, Asuka, eventually Nia Jax, whenever she gets a little better in the ring, women like that, I think they'll be okay. Plus they've signed a lot of, other women too. So yeah. But Alexa Bliss ended up winning. She did a backflip and landed her knees on Tessa Blanchard. It was kind of a cool looking move for,
Yeah, it is a cool little finisher.
Yeah, for especially for like a women's move, because normally they're just like, submission hold or something, but she's more athletic than a lot of the others.
Correct me if I'm wrong, but a couple of weeks ago I predicted that Nakamura would debut against Ty Dillinger. You
probably did. Wouldn't surprise me at all.
Boom, there you go.
Yeah.
that was your announced main event for the night.
Yeah. After the Alexa Bliss match, there was a backstage segment with Finn Balor. He says that he's the champ and willing to fight anyone. Also says that he's a big fan of Shinsuke Nakamura and that
they didn't just tease that.
Yeah. And that he knows he's here for one reason, and when Nakamura is ready, he is ready. So,
Jesus Christ, I can't wait for that.
If they plan on keeping Nakamura in NXT and not bringing him up anytime soon, I know I pitched the idea of Atami versus Balor. I want to see Nakamura versus Balor, especially at that NXT Brooklyn in August.
Let's have a fatal 5-way. Samoa Joe, Finn Balor, Nakamura, Hideo Itami, and I don't know, throw in just some other jobber.
Yeah.
Throw in Austin Aries.
Throw in Austin Aries, yeah, why not? Or Bobby Roode. Bring him in, why not?
Okay, let's have a 6-way scramble then.
Yeah. Or what did Ring of Honor call it? A 6-man mayhem instant classic smorgasbord.
Just proving ground, wannabe, proving
instant
something.
Proofs in the pudding match. That was followed up with Tommaso Ciampa and Johnny Gargano versus the Vaudevillains.
It's good to see Gargano back.
It's good to see Ciampa and Gargano teaming together.
Didn't they sign with NXT officially?
Yeah, I think so. I don't know if their deal is they can. I know Gargano is still doing the whole Evolve thing.
Yeah.
But I think their deal is they have to approve with NXT first and make sure that it doesn't affect, like they can still do indie shows, but make sure that if they're on an NXT card, they have to do the NXT card. Like they have to tell the other organization no.
Yeah.
It was very similar what Samoa Joe did when he first came to NXT, and this is what we were kind of talking about last week. Before Ricochet had said that he's not going to be in it, I could see them, putting him in a deal like that where he can work wherever, but as long as it's okay and doesn't interfere with NXT.
And Gargano is known as Johnny Wrestling.
Johnny Wrestling.
So if he ever makes the main roster, which is highly unlikely, but if he ever does, he'll have to change his name to Johnny Sports Entertainer.
That is true.
Because we don't wrestle on the main roster. We sports entertain.
Yeah. This was a pretty decent match. I'm not sure how long the Vaudevillains are going to last on the main roster.
6 hours?
Yeah. This gimmick is something that would have been awesome during, like early 90s, WWF, Doink the Clown, Gobbledygooker, stuff, guys like that. But ever since NXT Brooklyn last year, whenever they won the titles, right?
They either won or lost the titles. They were a champion at one point.
They did win because the biggest, arguably the biggest pop of the night was they but they brought out Blue Pants, and the crowd went nuts for her. But yeah, ever since then they haven't really done anything, and the crowd, it just seems over it. And yeah, into the match was when Ciampa locked Simon Gotch in his armbar. That kind of looks kind of brutal.
Yeah, it is pretty cool. He flips over.
Yeah. Also, I just had a real quick question. How can you take the Vaudevillains seriously in the tag team title tournament if they lose to a team on NXT? Like, Granted, I love Gargano and Ciampa, and I wanted them to win this match, but it doesn't really make sense to push a team like the Vaudevillains, especially after they've been pushed to the main roster, and then have them lose to...
I have no idea.
I mean, it doesn't make sense, but I'm happy Gargano and Ciampa won.
Because Vince McMahon doesn't watch NXT. He has no idea that they had a match on NXT. Or that this was even filmed 2 weeks ago.
Who's that Tommaso Ciampa dude? I'm sure that's exactly how Vince McMahon talks. He doesn't have that.
Who's Johnny Oregano?
Yeah. Who are these Vaudevillians?
Actually, vaudeville was around when Vince McMahon was a child, so
yeah, that's true.
Maybe he gets them.
Maybe that's why they got called up.
Damn it, Shane! 67 years on this planet, and I finally found my gimmick.
I'm gonna be their manager, damn it.
Oh, and then there was some point a commercial for Camp WWE.
I wasn't done talking, asshole.
Exactly. I got to imagine this is their answer to Family Guy.
Excuse me.
This is like I kind of want to watch just from a curiosity standpoint, but I don't want to get caught watching that crap.
Oh, I'm gonna watch that. No, hands down.
I don't want that to be in my viewing history queue.
Oh well, it will be since
Exactly.
But yeah, I hope that it's uncensored. I don't think it will be.
No, it can't be. I mean, there's no way.
I think it would be amazing if it. I think it would be amazing if it was.
A bra? I can't wear this sometimes.
I can't wear this probably.
It's like, oh God, no, this is not happening.
Where's Austin? I'm alive, motherfucker. Oh man.
I wish they would have gotten the real voices.
Oh yeah, exactly.
Flair does Flair and Vince does Vince, but that's about it.
Everyone else is a kid.
That's true. But that would have even been cooler to have like kid John Cena voiced by grown man John Cena.
Yeah.
Child Austin voiced by motherfucker Austin.
You piece of trash. Also, I'm not sure if when this was on the show, but they keep showing this commercial for the debut of No Way Jose.
Who the fuck is that punk?
I meant to look it up, but he was another indie guy, but he's debuting.
Wait, is he Fandango reimagined?
he's Mexican Fandango.
Because I get the idea that this is another dancing gimmick. Like the way they say "No Way Jose" and the rhythmic timing of the music.
Yeah, and
this is another dancing gimmick, and I don't like it already.
Yeah, and the whole club kind of aspect of the commercial.
Yeah, maybe it's Pitbull.
Who knows? As long as we don't have to hear that damn My House song anymore, I'll be okay.
What?
I'm thinking Flow Rider, never mind.
Okay, I was like, is that the WrestleMania song you're thinking of? Yeah, I hate that song.
Yeah.
You mean Florida?
Yeah, Florida. Next up was another enhancement match between Baron Corbin and Tucker Knight.
This match was useless.
Yeah.
You already knew the man was going to the main roster. Why did you need to film this match?
You already knew who was coming out after Tucker Knight was going to win the match.
Yeah.
But yeah, I think Corbin should be running through the main roster. Like having him debut at Mania and win the Battle Royal was awesome. Honestly, for me, it was one of the best spots of the night. But having
he shouldn't have had a double countout against Dolph Ziggler.
Yeah, that was just what I was about to say. But having him on Raw the next night in a match against Ziggler and having it be a double countout was stupid.
Now, do the end of days on the floor as is, and then get back in the ring and just stand there and banter as the ref counts to 10.
Yeah, exactly. Just start yelling at the crowd for no reason.
Vince McMahon only halfway can book stuff, so.
Yeah. But yeah, this match, Corbin hit the end of days, won.
He's a big dude, this Tucker Knight, and he kind of got some offense in.
Yeah,
he kind of got some crowd heat. I'm like, well, this guy's probably somebody.
Yeah, he was pretty fast, too. He did the move where he ran from one corner to corner and did like a splash.
He's got some bad tattoos, though, but other than that, he's not so bad.
Yeah.
He's like the Bull Dempsey who might get pushed.
He was the Bull Dempsey, but with sparkly onesie.
Yeah, he'll get pushed, hopefully.
Yeah, well, out the door, most likely.
Go back to Ring of Honor.
Yeah, exactly.
I never competed there.
I've never been there in my life. After this was a segment where Jordan and Gable were standing in the Kay Bailey Hutchinson Arena where they won the titles, and then they were confronted by Enzo and Cass.
This was so cool.
Yeah, Enzo says that they've been in NXT the longest and have seen and been in the ring with the best except for one team. And they said that they want a match, and they don't care if the titles are on the line or not, but Jordan and Gable accept the match, and we're going to see that match next week. They made that announcement towards the end of the show.
And I got to imagine they're putting over American Alpha.
Oh, yeah, easily, because, I mean, now that Cass and Enzo are main roster, so it wouldn't really make sense to...
Well, not just that. You can't have a team beat your tag team champions in a non-title match, and they're never going to get a tag team championship match because they're gone. They're main roster now.
Yeah, exactly.
It just would make no sense to have Cass and Enzo win.
Yep. After that was another enhancement match between Bayley and Liv Morgan.
I have 2 notes on this. Other than Bon Jovi, Liv Morgan is probably the only good thing to come out of Jersey.
Well,
and
maybe.
the belly to Bayley is the weakest finisher since Hogan's leg drop.
Yeah.
It's pretty weak. I mean, she doesn't even slam him down that hard.
Yeah.
It's just your typical everyday belly to belly suplex, and it's like, okay, whatever.
Yeah. At one point in the match, Liv Morgan did like the handstand springboard thing that Jay Lethal always does for his lethal injection. But instead of, jumping into like a diamond cutter, she rolled and turned it into a spinning head scissors takedown, which I thought that was kind of cool. Yeah. But yeah, this was kind of a short match. Like after the match, Bayley cut a promo and like she wasn't even sweating at all. Like it was just like
Liv Morgan's been on the show a few times before. I kind of think maybe she'll be something once she gets her feet under her.
Yeah.
But I'm getting the feeling that Bayley should have a submission move as well, because Sasha Banks, Charlotte, Becky Lynch, Asuka, they're all devastating submission finishers. Why does Bayley use the weakest move ever?
Yeah. But yeah, after the match, Bayley grabbed a mic and said that she's sad she lost the match, but Asuka was the better woman, and said that she's coming for the title again.
Maybe this is where she debuts her new submission finisher.
Maybe.
I'm not going to get off this high horse, people.
Oh, man. All right, and that brought us to the main event.
Oh, I'm a fan of Ty Dillinger's gimmick.
Oh yeah, I really do like Ty Dillinger. He's been around for a while too.
I like the backstage segment where he was interviewed and then put the number 3 card in the guy's jacket.
Yeah, he's like, "You're a 3." He didn't say it, but like that's what he meant.
That's the perfect kind of gimmick for him. Now, there's one of 2 ways they can go with this, for it to actually work, in my opinion. He either has to lose every single match, but be completely unaware of himself and think he's the greatest thing ever.
Yeah.
Or he has to start winning matches.
Yep.
He can't lose every week and still be the perfect 10. But he has to be full of himself if he's going to lose every week.
Yeah.
Or else it's just, you're just a guy who's kind of got an ego.
Yeah. The crowd started chanting 10, and then after that...
11!
Yeah,
11!
The crowd started chanting, "He's 11!" Dillinger got a lot more, got in a lot of offense, more than I was expecting. But I think this was a good opponent for Nakamura, mainly based on, they had back and forth, like, kind of antics, because, like, there was at one point where Nakamura was on the ground, and Dillinger was squatting in front of him and just flashing the number 10.
And Nakamura's, like, headbanging along with it, and he's like, what are you doing?
Yeah, and then he looked at the ref and was like, what? 10? What? But yeah.
And then at one point where he does the come here with the hand gesture.
Oh yeah, he did the 10.
Nakamura does like 11 or 10 or whatever, and he does it.
He does the 10 and then turns it into the like bring it on kind of thing. But yeah, they both have tons of charisma, so I thought this was a good match just based on that alone. Their kind of back and forth antics they were doing.
Really, the only thing I would tweak is his hairstyle. It's like he's kind of trying to grow a man bun, but it's not quite working out for him.
Yeah.
I don't like it just throws me off with that little shaved line down the side of his head. I'm like, bro, it's throwing me off. I don't know what it is.
Yeah. Ending of the match happened pretty quick. Nakamura hit a combo of moves and then landed the Kinshasa. One thing that bugs me again about Corey Graves, is that whenever, granted, it's only happened twice, but I don't see Nakamura losing anytime soon. So the way
yelling Kinshasa?
Yeah, similar to how Carino and all the Mr. Wrestlings yell super kick.
It's almost like it's a parody of himself.
When you
Just yell it like you really mean it.
Yeah, exactly.
It bothered me too.
Kinshasa! Like, I was like, no, just stop.
It's almost like he's trying to be super excited and fired up, but like wanting to hold it down because his grandparents are sleeping.
Yeah, exactly.
Just let loose and yell Kinshasa at the top of your lungs as loud as you can.
Yeah.
Just let it go.
Yeah, I mean, all the Mr. Wrestlings in Carino yell super kick, and it's glorious.
Yeah, he's allowed to be a parody of himself.
Yeah.
Because the Bucks are a parody of themselves, kinda.
Yeah.
With all the super kicks, I mean.
Yeah, that's true. But yeah, Nakamura ended up winning the match, and that was the end of NXT.
Yay!
Yeah.
Another great wrestling. They crammed a lot of wrestling into this show.
Yeah, they did.
It's usually a 3-4 match show. I counted 5 matches?
Yeah, there's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 matches.
Wow.
6 matches, 2 backstage segments, 2 video promos.
And then there was the challenge to American Alpha.
Yeah, and a Bayley promo.
Yeah, there you go. Boom, that's a lot of...
That's
an
hour.
1-hour show. It didn't feel like they crammed stuff in. It felt like it flowed smoothly.
Yeah.
Take note, WWE main roster booking committee.
Vince. All right, and...
Russo.
Yeah. All right, and we're going to end the wrestling portion with how we normally end it. Wrestler and match of the week.
Let me find my notes.
All right.
Okay, I'm ready.
All right. What is your match of the week?
Well, it was going to be the Fight Without Honor, because that match, I watched it this afternoon, but that's going to get honorable mention to Charlotte versus Natalya. I'm actually going to give the women the nod this week. That was a very, very good match.
Yeah.
And up until I watched the match, Fight Without Honor, I was going to give that to Charlotte and Natalya. My wrestler of the week, couple of honorable mentions, Gallows and Anderson, just because that was probably one of the cooler debuts I've seen in a couple of years.
Yeah.
Cass and Enzo, because, well, Jesus Christ, they're Cass and Enzo.
Devin.
Devin, my parents got it on. How you doing?
How you doing?
But my wrestler of the week is Roman Reigns.
All right.
No, I'm not going to explain anything to you people. It's Roman Reigns. Your turn.
Alrighty. Maybe you can explain on Twitter or to me off camera, because that's...
Okay, fine. He has a really cool bulletproof vest, which you can now buy on WWE Shop. He was cutting a very good promo until he was interrupted. And the whole thing with Bray Wyatt, I like where it's going, and I want to see more of it. Unfortunately, it's probably on the back burner because of injury to Bray, but he's finally embracing the hate, as John Cena said years ago to Kane, or vice versa. Anyway, it's like when he comes out and gets booed, he kind of embraces it and gives it back. He gives that dirty look to the people.
Yep.
Unlike when John Cena got booed, he would just smile and keep laughing. I like where Roman Reigns is going, and I want to see more of it.
Yeah, makes sense.
That's why he is my wrestler of the week.
That works.
Okay, sir, who is your match, or what is your match of the week?
My match of the week is AJ Styles versus Sami Zayn. I really like that match. I think it was one of the first times, if not the first time they fought.
I don't think they've ever had any contact in Ring of Honor.
Yeah, I don't think they did.
Or if it wasn't memorable enough to stick with me.
Yeah, so yeah, it was real cool to see that. Especially with two guys who are fairly new to the main roster. Granted, Sami Zayn did get called, had his match with John Cena last year, but immediately got hurt. But they both, you could arguably say that both have been on the main roster since the Royal Rumble. AJ Styles for sure, and then Sami Zayn made his return at the Rumble. But yeah, I really enjoyed that match. There was a lot of good spots. And my wrestler of the week is actually going to be 2 wrestlers of the week. Luke Gallows and Carl Anderson.
Anarchy. He's picking 2. Anarchy.
Hey, hush it.
They're a tag team. It's cool.
Yeah, they're 2 is 1. 2 was 1. But yeah, I was losing my mind whenever that happened, and
It was spoiled for me on Twitter
Yeah.
because I saw it. I'm like, oh wait, and I thought they attacked the New Day because they showed like a GIF of Anderson throwing some guy into the steel steps, and I'm like, is he wearing red trunks? And then when the New Day came out, I'm thinking, oh, they attacked the New Day. This is awesome. But yeah, that was kind of cool.
yeah, yeah, that got me really excited. So yeah, they're my wrestlers of the week. So
And
yeah, that does it for. Or what were you gonna say?
I was gonna say, and my TV just completely tuned to ESPN 30 for 30. They're doing a documentary on Penny Hardaway and Shaq.
Oh yeah, that's right. I was watching basketball last night, and they were talking about it.
I love the 30 for 30 series.
Oh yeah, there's supposed to be one coming out with one on Ric Flair. Supposed to be
Oh yeah, I did hear about that.
Yeah, it's supposed to be coming out sometime this year, probably.
As soon as he
I don't know.
stops crying and pays his child support.
Yeah.
What?
Well, that does it for the wrestling portion. Now we're going to talk some Marvel news.
I can't say I'm excited about the Doctor Strange trailer because I don't know anything about the character, but I saw it and I'm like, okay, I'm intrigued.
Yeah, it's
I want to
definitely
see where you go with this.
Yeah, the Doctor Strange trailer was released on Tuesday night. Benedict Cumberbatch was on the Jimmy Kimmel show, and he debuted it. And yeah, I watched it a couple times. Like the first time I watched it, I was like, "Holy shit, that's way too much to take in." So I watched it, I think, 1 or 2 more times. But yeah, it's very Inception-esque.
Yeah, I did get a vibe, but I'm like, that's weird.
Yeah, the part where
It's got to be the magic.
Yeah, it definitely. If you haven't watched it, go check it out. It's definitely one of the. It's their way of
Basically,
introducing.
turn a city in on itself, like Inception. Turn that city like into a complete circular deal.
Yeah, it was like the one city on the city on top of the city, and they were like fused together. Yeah, it was kind of cool. But yeah, this is their way of kind of introducing magic into the Marvel universe.
So he's kind of an Inhuman, right? Doctor Strange?
Sort of, kind of.
Was he born that way, or did he acquire those powers?
He acquired those because what little I know, he was a surgeon. He was like one of the best surgeons in the world. He got into a car accident, and he couldn't use his hands anymore. So
cool.
he goes on this quest to kind of get the use of his hands back, and he finds the Ancient One, which is Tilda Swinton, the bald-headed lady in the trailer, and she teaches him how to use magic, and that's how he becomes one of the more powerful magic, heroes, whatever, in the Marvel universe. And yeah, this is their way of introducing magic into the Marvel universe, and they're also going to be making an Iron Fist Netflix show. And that's another way of introducing magic as well.
Now, I don't know if we recorded this, because we talked a whole bunch of Marvel last week.
Yeah.
But you had mentioned he wears an amulet around his neck.
Yes, he does.
I'm going to go ahead and obviously it's going to be an Infinity Stone, which is this would be the perfect place to debut one.
Yes.
Because it's a new franchise. Let's give it a bang to start it off with.
Yep. They did that with Guardians of the Galaxy.
If I'm not mistaken, they have the Soul Stone and the Mind Stone. No. Crap. It's the green and orange stones still have left to be revealed.
Yeah.
I want to say the orange stone is the Soul Stone. I think that's probably going to be the one. I'm going to predict that's the one they debut.
That's what I'm
thinking. Because it's magic. Soul, it kind of plays.
Yeah.
There's one more stone. I can't, and I'll actually write it down because it's on my phone and I can't look it up right now, but
yeah.
It's different than the comic books. The color, the stones are the same, but the colors have been moved around.
They've mixed up the colors for the movie purpose.
Which I'm cool with. I mean,
that doesn't bother me.
It doesn't. I don't care. It did throw me for a loop when I was looking up the stones to see which ones are which. I was like, well, the green stone isn't the space stone. That's the Tesseract. That was blue, and I'm like, that doesn't make any sense. And it took a while to kind of, get everything in line. But overall, who cares?
Yeah.
It's just a color.
Yeah, exactly. That's not a big deal. Also, they released an extended clip of one of the Civil War scenes It's of Ant-Man, or as Paul Rudd's character in the movie, whenever he first meets Captain America, and it's pretty funny because Captain America is talking to Hawkeye, and Captain America's like, "Hey, did you get our new recruit?" And he's like, "Yeah." Hawkeye's like, "Yeah, but we'll need to give him some coffee." And he opens up this van door, and Paul Rudd's character is asleep, and he gets woken up by the sound of the door. And he gets out of the car, or gets out of the van, and he sees that it's Captain America, and he's like, "Oh, you're Captain America," and he starts shaking his hand, and he shakes his hand for 10, 15 seconds, and he's like, I'm shaking your hand way too long. And he turns around and looks at Scarlet Witch, and it's just like, this is Captain America. This is so cool. And then he turns back at and then immediately turns back to Scarlet Witch, and he's like, I know who you are too. You're good too. But yeah, it was pretty funny.
I think Paul Rudd's the perfect person to be in a superhero movie.
Oh yeah, especially for one that kind of has to have, that kind of has to be funny.
Yeah.
Yeah. But yeah,
Ant-Man without humor wouldn't have been as good.
Yeah.
It'd have been okay, but not as good.
But yeah, we are officially 21 days away from Civil War. 21.
Yay. That's 3 weeks.
3 weeks. Yep.
Oh, jeez, I can't wait.
Yep, 3 weeks from today. But yeah, anything else you want to talk about before we end it?
I have nothing right now.
Okay. All right. Well, I'll go ahead and do our normal spiel, and then we'll get out of here. But if you want to follow us on Twitter, follow us at JJ Wrestling Show. Go like our Facebook page, Joey and James Wrestling Super Show. Follow us on Instagram at JJ Wrestling Super Show. We do upload to iTunes and Podbean, but we also upload to YouTube. You can find our channel on there. It's JandJ Wrestling Super Show. So please rate, subscribe, share, tweet, favorite, everything you can possibly do. Just do it. It is much, much appreciated. Where can they find you on social media, James?
At James Tingstrom.
Alrighty. And if you want to follow me on Twitter, you can find me at Space Jam is my jam. So please follow us on there if you want more of the greatness that is what we do. If you want to send us emails, suggestions, hate mail, show reviews, whatever, send us mail at jandjwrestlingsupershow@gmail.com, and that is JANDJ. Well, folks, that's going to be it for this podcast. Come back next weekend when we talk about everything that happened in the wonderful world of wrestling. WWE, NXT, Ring of Honor, Lucha Underground, possibly some other stuff along the way. We recorded a little bit early this week because I'm going out of town tomorrow and James is going out of town on Sunday. But whenever we get back from, where we're going to, we'll be back and we're going to be recording sometime the following weekend, 22nd, 23rd, 24th, somewhere around then. Well, for us here at the Wrestling Super Show podcast, y'all have a great week, and we will see you in the next one.
Hit Dalton Castle's music?
Yes, sir.
Okay. I completely forgot from the start of the show. My bad.
It's okay. He wants it all.